Peaceful tribe, what's up? Welcome to your full moon and Taurus reading. This is a big deal, guys. If we haven't met yet, my name is High Priestess Berry, psychic, medium, and divine channeler. Ooh, hoping to bring you a message. Now, always remember, my messages are candid, unscripted, but they are also timeless. So please tap into your instincts, listen to your intuition. If there's anything that I talk about that doesn't make any sense, totally fine. Do not worry about it. This message may not be for you, but if it does resonate, please let me know by liking and comment below. I wanted to go ahead and figure out who's going to be guiding us through this particular transit. And I've been getting a lot of Mother Mary references, whether if that is just a joke in the back of my mind, or in some ways, I think a few of you within the collective are almost having these weird esoteric experiences, as though if you could live your life through Mother Mary's shoes, what would have her experience have been? It says love and peace. And it says, let go of the need to be right, choose peace. Mother healing is possible at this time. And it's a reminder that two truths can be true. There's something about the way that you personally know a situation has gone down and how other people could interpret the situation. And there's a real ask right now to get out of the habit of trying to be right or getting people to see it a very specific way. Those sort of mentalities, they're not actually helping you at this time. We also have the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention, I want to say has occurred, but it says on the card is occurring. Know that you're being guided. Happiness is your purpose. Kind of actually want to look at the divine director. I've never tuned into this card before. The ultimate question is, can I find it? There we go. The divine director is a facet of the heart of the creator. According to the New Thought teaching, his energy is merged directly with God's divine plan so that we can access it and understand on a deeper level what will support our true function, which is to be happy. Oh, concept. The divine director worked directly with angels and in particular guardian angels, so that they can fulfill the role of supporting the earth and all of her people. Right now, your angels are reminding you that your divine purpose on earth is to remember, love, and do what makes you happy. There's something about the way that you guys have been trying to tune into your own sense of purpose and understanding why it is you've gone through what it is that you had, and even more frustrated why you have not been able to speak a story that other people can hear. There's something about getting out of your own head, especially during this full moon. We have the taskmaster, the task we have the task master messing with your language, which is really weird that it's doing that. I think there's some of that Jupiter retrograde in Gemini that's creating a little bit of friction as you run through this. And in a lot of ways, you're just going to have to honor the hiccups along the way. But with Saturn moving forward into Pisces, there's some tremendous enlightenment available to you that's going to help not only awaken yourself, but awaken others around you. You're sort of the instigator. I mean that in a nice way. It's a very catalyst feeling where something in the back of your mind is just going to go bing and it's going to make sense. But because you've clicked something on, it means that others will be activating around you. Might have to do a lot of editing in this video, we'll see. But let's ask about what's going on. Like, I kind of want to toggle between the hella esoteric, but also keep a few things rooted in reality. Taurus is about your sense of care and love and being able to create a reality around you that is comforting and comfortable. And sometimes, the Taurus is the bull and can get a little bit too comfortable and not willing to move forward. A few of you guys are going to be situated where you have to start questioning how it is you got to where it is that you are now. And if this isn't you, it's other people around you. They're actually beginning to struggle with the feeling like nothing's working in their life, like nothing's moving forward. So, and I feel like this could be career, relationship, but I think this is just again life purpose because the divine director is sort of this coach who is able to rally together all the resources for you. So, when it comes to at least for whoever it's going to make sense for, looking for their sense of purpose and what was the whole point of going through everything in the first place. Five of coins. It's as though in your benevolent you're in your benevolent attempt to have a good life, adulting, be the grown up. There's something very lackluster about your approach. After we go to cut, Queen of Cups, and it's knowing, yes, I know I'm supposed to love myself, and why can't I get someone else to love me as well? It's this catch 22 where we know we're supposed to love ourselves, but there's still this desire to seek validation from the outside. We got the card of the Hermit. You're a lot of you guys might be struggling with feeling a little bit lonely and disconnected from either the people that you love and care about. A few of you are having a difficult time voicing things to your loved ones, mostly because if you don't know what the problem is inwardly, if you can't voice it to yourself, there's a reason why you can't voice it to others. King of Cups. Like, I feel as though some of you guys have been struggling with being locked down emotionally, like you're going through the paces and doing the thing that you know you're supposed to do. Because notice how the sea serpent is just it's just all over the place. And it's sort of like if I just keep doing all the different things, I think I should be able to cover the bases, right? Eight of Cups. Um, I actually get this feeling as though something from your past may come back to haunt you. And it's sort of this feeling of I keep moving forward, like I'm trying to do the work myself. I'm doing better. Like it's as though you can genuinely say inwardly, you are doing a lot better. Um but it's this feeling like, why does the dysfunction continue to follow me? I try to take care of myself. I try to make myself a priority. I try to be loving to everybody around me because I believe everybody does deserve love. Like you've been kind of stuck within your thoughts, trying to over rationalize something, and it it keeps haunting you. What do we have right here? We got the world. That it feels as though this aspect of confusion is coming to an end. How is it that the divine wants to clarify and help guide you, the collective? It's sort of like you've been working with one mentality because it was the only one that felt comfortable and safe at the time. I feel as though the way that you have been learning about the world, something in there needs to shift. And it's actually not a bad thing. It's actually a way that you used to learn, the way that you used to educate yourself, the way you used to experience reality. It's a little bit of this inner child sort of feeling. If we go to shuffle, there's our inner child, Page of Swords. There's going to be a shift in the way that you receive information and the way that you digest stuff logically. I've been getting this feeling of art versus science, and art and science always need to work in tandem. Science is the practice of understanding what has happened within the world and trying to see what has been measurable, what has been repeatable, what has been proven. But just because you copy and paste other people's scientific ideas, it doesn't actually mean you know what it is you're talking about. There's something about learning how to take all of this vast amount of information. You guys have been collecting data for decades, trying to figure out, well, I love learning about this, but what's the point? And most of you have written this off as a hobby. And it's sort of as though what drove you to be so ambitious to learn something so weird that you're the only person who seems to appreciate it, or you even created a community of people who had similar interests. But it's though it's like these people, they never really got the depths of what you really loved and appreciated about your hobby, about what it is you were interested in. After I go to cut, there is this this burden. It's like, I find this fascinating, but I can't make money with it. I find this kind of cool, but nobody else gets it. And my head right here just wants to explode. What do we got? Three of coins. Um, some of you guys are going to be going through a bit of a shift, realizing that the your career, your job, your work, it's just not satisfying you. And it's not even at the point where you're looking for money. I really feel like a lot of you guys are asking about, what is my purpose? What is the point? We also have the Emperor. Like, you haven't had a very stable foundation to work with. Why? Because you've been having to go through a bunch of karmic cycles to, in a lot of ways, untether you from energies. Like I was talking about with this 8 of Cups, it feels like something's following you around. It feels like some dysfunctionality is moving around, whether if it is you're in an abusive relationship, you got yourself out of it. First of all, good for you for doing that. But then you go to the next place and somehow you've got neighbors that are fighting. It's as though you were still listening to you and your spouse argue, except through between the walls. And so then you leave there and then you go to the next place and you're noticing how there's just all this litter everywhere. And again, it reminds you of how this dysfunctional relationship, why is this continuing to follow me around? And a lot of it is good that you have been creating distance between you and the toxic energy, but there's an ask within here to do some shadow work. If the dysfunction's following you around like a lost puppy, uh, maybe there's a reason for it. It's not there to haunt you. It's just a part of you. It, in some ways, a lot of you who've been through abusive, toxic, traumatic experiences, to start integrating it into your psyche, just to know that you did nothing wrong. You had something to learn. And now the next part of you understanding your purpose means you need to integrate the dark side, because you'll start seeing shadow versions of yourself from the past, and if you still judge it, if you still try to push it away, if you still give this sort of like, ew, kind of feeling towards it, it means you are not ready from within to explore your sense of purpose. We got the card of the Star. A few of you guys are trying to figure out, what do I want to manifest next? And some of you are leaving it up to fate. Even though this isn't the wheel, it's sort of like, well, whatever happens happens, but you still know you need to press forward. And in some ways you're being asked to trust as you trudge forward, especially with what you're going to be receiving and understanding during this full moon in Taurus season. Like, once you get the downloads, you're going to start feeling comfortable about receiving your manifestation, your enlightenment. And in some ways, I'm hearing marching orders. What there's the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, I love my job. And in some ways, a few of you guys are being encouraged to really think about, well, what is your job? Um, it's easy for us to feel silly about the dreams that we had as a child. Like, even for yours truly, a lot of people have been asking you, like, well, what are you gonna do now that you've been laid off from work? Are you looking for work? And it's sort of like, I don't have the energy to go out and put out resumes. I don't want to do that. If I never did my career ever again, I think I'd be the happiest person ever. And then, they would ask me, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to be a psychic. And there's something like, even about me needing to take some ownership. How do you approach your dad and tell him that you're going to clown college? It's that kind of feeling. And if you're going to clown college and you feel called to do so, oh my God, go for it. Because a lot of people don't realize that Cirque du Soleil is technically a circus, and it's amazing. Let's have a look at what kind of downloads you might be receiving during this time. Okay, we got the card of guides. Like, I'm gonna get a few cards here. Some of them may apply, some of them may not, but it's one of these things. I was talking about science versus art a little bit earlier. Um, it's it's useless to take all of the information that you have gathered and then have to keep it to the letter. That's legalism. Like, what's the point of learning about religion if you don't know how to integrate it into your own personal experience? Some people will say, no, you have to interesting. You have to follow the letter of the law. Otherwise you are doing God a disservice. Or others will say, no, it's just a metaphor, do whatever you want. And then you get felt as though you're frowned upon, like you're just trying to pick and choose. Um, you're trying to pick and choose, but avoid the shadow. Like, really, at the end of the day, like, no matter which way you want to uh, phrase it, are you looking at your shadow, or are you just trying to avoid what it is you need to see? Like, whether this is studying actual sciences, studying religion, studying art history, studying whatever it is that you are genuinely interested in, there's an ask for you to start integrating it so that you have your own perception. You're able to use all of your intuition, the way that you've applied these realizations to yourself, and be able to take this information and find new and refreshing ways to express it, especially from an emotional level. Because, like I said, like, I just want to go gesturing. Like, for all of you who, you're always hand gesturing all the time, I see that as emotional energy. After we go to cut, huge shift within your emotions, and we have the card of new life. New life, new perspective. And in the, like, blue and yellow are part of your receptors, even for your eyes, to help you discern different types of color. Like, this is literally light code information, and these light codes are designed to shift you into your purpose. So what downloads are going to get? Knowledge. Some of this is just to confirm what I've been intuitively tapped into. You need to take all of the knowledge that you have acquired. Some of you are still struggling, feeling as though, well, I need to learn more. Well, I don't know enough. And there's a lack mentality within there that needs to be addressed. You know a lot. And there's something about asking for the wisdom, and your downloads are going to be these sort of, we'll call them wisdom codes because it's cute that way, where you'll be able to finally digest what it is you actually have been learning. Then you can ask the universe for wisdom on how to interpret that data. And if there is a need for you to go out to learn more, the portal of energy will open up to you. We got the card of growth. Like, for those of you who've struggled with loss or feeling like you've had to release, or things are just changing, like, you're actually being shown through these downloads how you actually self-contained yourself, all in the name of being likable, to being attractive, to maybe keep up an illusion based on a past egoic version of yourself to make you think that maybe you're still doing okay. Here's the thing, you're kind of lying to yourself. You're entering into this phase of your life where you are getting to know yourself, you're actually being yourself and realizing the contrast of how you kept yourself way too contained. I'm joking earlier about flailing or gesturing. Your body, when it moves around, is an emotion in action. And this entire time, you didn't realize how compressed you were. Like, notice how you've had stiffness in your muscles. When you release yourself from a toxic timeline, you start noticing where you might be had been hunching, and you're like, "Hmm, I suddenly have the energy to sit up straight. Oh, my mind seems to be calming down. I used to freak out when there were these long, arduous pauses. Yikes." Like, to slow down is to grow up because our childlike mentality thinks we have to do everything all the time. And we live in a world where children are constantly piled on with homework and extracurricular activities and school and religion when that applies. And kids are already put into these buckets of constantly busy. And it's only because the parents are so busy that they're too busy to parent. There's this sort of inverse opposite feeling that you might have observed within your own dynamic as a parent and child, or you've noticed within others. Like, I feel like there's a real chance for some tutoring to happen, especially for those of you who do identify as parents. Like, there's something very cool about this energy. As you have learned to embody your own artistry and mastery, it becomes way easier to teach the kids because you just teach the kids the basic fine print, but you allow them to go off and experiment. And you can only hope and pray that you've taught them protection, that you've taught them how to be safe, that they have a little bit of room to be slightly reckless, but they don't feel so inclined to prove themselves to the world that they harm themselves. There's something very even, Steven, about the way that you are going to be approaching your sense of self growth and also the way that you interact with children, especially for those of you who want to go into more of a teaching role or even just knowing better ways of interacting with adults who behave like children. What else do we have? Earth. I really feel like some of you are also going to be getting downloads about, ooh, I'm hearing the earthly realm, and in some ways why you've been attached to certain ideologies. With Pluto transiting out of Capricorn into Aquarius, like, I almost have an advent calendar going. It's like, all right, we got 6 days left. We got 5 days left, 4 days left. I honestly don't know what the hell is supposed to happen. Like, maybe I just find some fireworks if I felt that was a smart idea. It's like, whee, okay, we're here. Now what? Um, there is something that is slow moving and it is anchoring in. I feel like you guys are going to be getting some physical confirmations to let you know that all this knowledge you have acquired has actually been worthwhile this entire time. Some of you will be getting an influx of cash. Others of you will be getting the sense of safety and security when it comes to work, when it comes to pursuing things that you find fascinating. Like, this feels very dense. That's why with this card of growth, it is important that you do heed all of the wisdom that you're going to be picking up from this download, because Earth is very dense and it is easy to trip ourselves. It is easy to smack into things. It is easy to get hot, flustered, and frustrated when stuff doesn't work out in the way that we think it should happen. There's something about no longer depending on instant growth, no longer hoping for the big windfall. Well, I did say some of you may be receiving an influx of cash. Like, for some of you, this is gonna be like 20 bucks hanging out underneath the couch. Others of you, this could be a lotto winning ticket. And others of you, this is you finally getting back pay for something that you've been waiting a long time for. It's gonna be different as to whatever this sense of relief, and it doesn't, it won't always be money for some of you guys. Knowing what wealth is will be very beneficial, because if you get this download and you're disappointed with it, actually that is kind of interesting. If you get this earthly download and you're disappointed with it, what is the divine trying to show you through that? Okay. Okay, we got what's the vibe? What's the deal? Why are you so Okay, so if you're disappointed with whatever this is, automatically that's a karmic feminine energy. When I say karmic feminine, it's this sort of this first person ideology in the back of your mind. This really has to do with your headspace and understanding what wealth and security are supposed to mean. After I go to shuffle masculine energy, oh my god, fight against me, why don't you, universe? Why are we doing that? Healing masculine energy. Like, It doesn't matter if you've been on a twin flame journey or not, and in some ways, I would never wish that journey on another human being. It sucks. But when your masculinized energy is begins to heal, that aspect of you feels calm and comfortable and collected, and in some ways feels way more stabilized, so that when karmic feminine energy comes in from behind, because karmic feminine energy, I always feel it, something from behind, and karmic masculine energy can feel like it's coming from up front. But when you're feeling anchored within your divine masculine, there's this feeling of, even if someone tried to snipe you from behind, on that mental space, it's a recognition that it's trying to fuck with your feminine energy, and a strong, Hottie McHotterson, divine masculine energy is able to put themselves into the presence to tell that energy, you leave my feminine alone. You leave me alone. You are not welcome here. I've been getting a lot of messages for the 13th tribe and the Order of the Blue Rose, our paid memberships, about entering into our masculinity. And that can be a bit challenging for those of us who've been female identifying, because women are always assumed to be feminine. But for those of you who are women and you've been powering through, trying to get things done, learning all the things, trying to make ends meet, you've actually been within your masculine, and it's a toxic masculine energy. And it's only because you've been listening to some bad advice you got when you were a kid. Got the card of distance, divorce, ghosted, separation. Somebody at one point or another made you feel or believe that if you didn't have money, that you had no value. Don't get me wrong. In order to play the game in this reality, money is usually quite beneficial, a currency of some kind. But there are people out there who try to find ways to play the system in a different way. Have you ever heard of the term freegan? And, it's supposed to be, people that all they do is dumpster dive, and they look at restaurants where there's still actually pretty decent food that legally they can't sell from the restaurant perspective, so they have to toss it, and there's all this excess, food that's wasted. And so people go through dumpsters and collect all the good stuff, and as far as they're concerned, they're eating for free. And you can have all kinds of opinions about it. I definitely am not interested in operating in that timeline, but I can actually kind of see the fun about it. But if you look at that particular paradigm too, it's sort of like, well, we're entitled because we're actually saving the planet. We're not creating any excess waste that's completely unnecessary. I'm sorry, abundance does require some semblance of waste, but when you're creating abundance for abundance's sake, like, for example, it's like, well, I need to have money in my retirement. Well, why? Well, I don't know. I need to have money in my retirement. Well, what are you planning on doing with that? I don't know. Well, what do you want to do when you retire? I don't know. I just want to retire and I don't want to do anything. Some of you have been manifesting security and safety and not even sure what is you want to do with this in the first place. Like, when I first started getting into my office career, I did hear one person say, um, I work my whole life so that when I retire, I can do the things that I want. And there's an ask within here for you to consider, well, what do you want out of your retirement? Are you retired now? In a lot of ways, even for yours truly, joking about doing early retirement and then getting a layoff, that in some ways the universe was listening to me. So, like, whatever it is that felt as though it's way too far out of reach, or somebody took it too far out of reach, maybe it wasn't for you in the first place, and you can have some semblance of comfort knowing that your masculine energy told this toxic energy to get the fuck away from you, and you've actually been protecting yourself this entire time. Masked, hiding, concealing, whatever it is that, if you get disappointed with whatever this influx, this download, this earthly realization is supposed to be, just know that you were looking for something that had a mask. You were falling for something that was false. And again, just be grateful, feel the feelings. You are allowed to be disappointed. You're supposed to feel disappointed. And in some ways, you have been ignoring and overlooking key critical shadow aspects of yourself because you didn't want to feel bad. There's still a lot of shadow healing that's going on in the undertow, but as things get kicked up to the surface, you will still see some of the kind of the gross left behind underbrush of whatever it is that you've been working on. But, just feel it, acknowledge it, and then clean it up and move forward. Your sense of magnetism is healing. So I'm gonna get one more message. Let's go for the Wizard of Azanon. And we have the Temple of Elevated Senses. Like, keep anchored during this time. Like, this Earth message is still quite relevant because whatever it is that you will have be brought to you in the physical reality, it is going to make you feel good. Like, even if there might be a bit of this sort of initial disappointment, it's not a bad thing. It's just, oh, well, I thought it was supposed to be something else, but this is still pretty good. Like, there's good news within here. We got Merkaba, Matrix, light body expansion, illuminated presence. Anchor in anchor in these light codes, embody them. You are entering into your own sense of soul purpose. Your light body is going through a mass expansion. So make sure that you are taking the time to feed yourself, to hydrate yourself, to move around. And a lot of you who've been sick get to know your body for the first time. A lot of you who've been in toxic relationships get to know yourself for the first time. Your energy is going to be going through a mass expansion, and if you're feeling lonely, consider it to be a temporary kindness. You're getting to know yourself, and you don't need anybody else to get in the way to make you feel as though you're doing something weird or you're doing something wrong. Honor this journey that you are on. Honor the intentions you've thrown out to the universe and just honor yourself. You're getting to know yourself for the first time. And if you understand yourself, you'll be able to explain everything that you need and everything you want and desire to the universe and everyone around you. I'm just saying. Whew. Well, whoever you guys are, damn, I really hope that this helped. Thank you, all of you, so much for sticking around. If you like my style, please make sure to like the video on the way out. If you're kind of curious what the next message is going to be, I do highly recommend that you subscribe. And until I see you at the next one, I'm wishing you peace, love, and all the berries. Bye!